So I can send that out to people who may have missed this. So here's our plan for today. The meeting should take roughly an hour. What we are going to do, this link here, I will send out to everybody at the end of our meeting. This link will include meeting minutes from this meeting so that we can approve those next time in October. What our plan is 7 a.m. Ramsey's going to go over CSFA. 7:15, Jenny Serpa will go over CSPD. 7:30, I will cover ORPCT, and 7:45, we will go through Surge Tech. So we will start with CSFA, and Ramsey Wilson, take it away. This is our program chair who will fill you in on all the good stuff happening.
Thank you, Anna. So thank you guys for all coming. I just wanted to say special thanks to Dr. Levine, Dr. Schneider, our civilian Waka Sato, and Lillian Olson, our clinical educator over at Good Sam, for coming. So a little bit about the updates within our program. Anna is going to go over the changes for her specific piece of Surge 1001, but this actually will directly affect our program because we utilize this course as a prerequisite for perioperative nurses, foreign medical doctors, and non-active CSTs that have not practiced in the past 10 years to enter into the CSFA program. This course will be activated spring of 2023. So for those that anticipate coming into our fall 2022 admissions this August, we'll still be able to take ORPCT for summer and fall, and then it will be activated, like it says, at spring 2023. And then Anna will kind of go over why she's changing that when she kind of goes onto that with an ORPCT or Surge. Next, the orientation and on-campus lab, we are changing it a bit. We are going to do an online orientation on the first day of class, which will be August 22nd. This way I can kind of go over all of the online material, online campus stuff, how to get, check in, check out things within the online library. We'll also have our special librarian, Deb K. Cook-Smith, to kind of give another orientation on how to utilize all the online resources that she's been working hard on within these past 2 years. Another change that we're going to be doing is we're going to do a minimum of 30 hours, that's the first 4 days of this on-campus lab. 30 hours, hopefully, it used to be 24 hours. We decided to increase it just a little bit more, just so that the students have a little bit more practice with tying, especially, the one-handed versus two-handed tie, tying in different positions where they would be standing alongside the surgeon, across from the surgeon, and kind of getting used to tying and suturing within a confined space, as opposed to how we did it last year, which was just solely on the suture boards. We are pending purchasing for a pig cadaver so that they can practice doing pig cadaver incisions, sutures, and kind of simulate smaller cases that they might assist with, just so they can get that feel of, assisting on more of real life tissue. We're also going to be working on practicing our interrupted and continuous suture on banana peels, pork shoulder, and pig's feet, which I had this past cohort kind of practice and give me their reviews on. And those were the 3 main that they kind of said helped simulate that real tissue. We also will be doing simulated laparoscopic skills, and we're going to be partnering up with Rush Oak Park for our laparoscopic skills, as well as Delnor for our robotic skills. As always, we will be practicing pre-op skills, Foley catheter insertion, tourniquet application, and then reviewing a prep and draping from what they learned previously of their perioperative skills. I've also created a student lab workbook that will help them with understanding all of the skills that are needed for surgical first assisting, how it's applied, and also hopefully they can utilize this workbook while they're in clinicals. Admissions and marketing, update of admissions, like we said previously, Surge 1000 revised or the current ORPCT for the foreign medical doctors, perioperative nurse, or non-active CSTs. Just to clarify, if they are a current CST, they are able to be admitted into the program without that Surge 1000 piece. Participation in health career fairs, OR services, and workshops are something that I'm going to be doing just to increase for our marketing as well as hopefully get our admissions up. Our goal for 2022 and 23 is I'm hopefully going to be able to work with COD's marketing department to develop more of a social media presence. TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook are the three ones that we're going to be doing. The TikTok piece, I am going to have our current students kind of work with to kind of show the skills that they would be doing and everything that's going to be within on campus. Annual report and curriculum. I am currently working on the ARCS TSA annual report. It is due May 31st. And this is the report. The reporting year will be 2020. The academic year, I do apologize, that is wrong. It should be 2020 to 2021. Within that, I hope to attend the AFE conference, myself and my adjunct faculty, just so that we can anticipate the curriculum changes. The CST program I know went through a lot of curriculum changes the past 2 years, and they will be working on that for CSFA for the next 2 years. So I'm going to be anticipating that. So attending that conference will be mandatory for me. Outcomes reporting. So our graduating class of 2021 graduated last August. Our retention rate was 12 were enrolled, 1 was dropped. CSFA participation, we had 100% because we actually do it on campus. Our pass rate in the certification exam, we had 8 out of 11. So we are at 72%, which is down from the previous year. And I will go over my action plan with that later on. Our graduate placement. So with CSFA, our graduate placement can be anything within the operating room field. Obviously, we would like for them to continue to do the CSFA. However, I do know that a lot of them are dual certified where they will do both the CST and the CSFA piece. So we do have 11 of, that are all placed. Our employee surveys, we had an 8 out of 11 returns, so that's 72%, all within a satisfaction rate. So that's of a score of a 3, 4, or 5, 1 being unsatisfactory, 5 being satisfactory. And then our graduate surveys, which we're allowed to do the day of graduation. So I was able to get 100% of that with a 100% satisfaction rate. So right now for our resources, we are working on 4 new clinical sites: Advocate Condell Hospital in Lake County, Hawthorne Surgery Center in Vernon Hills, Lake County Plastic Surgery Center, and St. Alexis in Hoffman Estates. Obviously, right now, what we do for our registration is our students do have to seek out their own clinical site, simply because as a CSFA, they need to establish that trusting relationship with the site and their surgeons that they'll specifically be working with. This is also because it is not another CSFA that is precepting them. They are working directly under the surgeon. So this has kind of been working out. Currently, we have 26 sites. However, we still have to do the same process for admissions where the students still have to seek out their own clinical site. So certification prep is the main thing that I really wanted to focus here because again, we are at 72%, which is within the margin that, without an action plan. However, because we are lower than what we anticipated from the years before, I really wanted to make sure that the certification prep for this current cohort, there was no excuses. So the application for web-based testing has been submitted. They are expected to take the test on Tuesday, July 26th of 2022, which is the week before finals week. We have already purchased for each and individual student a Stat Pearls exam, which has over 600 questions. The nice thing I do like about this particular review exam prep software is that it will tell the students exactly what area they need to work on, whether it's anatomy, preoperative, assessment, intraoperative. It will tell them kind of what they need to focus on. Another great thing about this Stat Pearls exam is it actually gives resources for individual categories as well. So articles and continuing education units that they can kind of review and say, hey, you know what? I didn't really do a lot of OBGYN while I was in clinical, but I still feel like I need a little bit more exposure. They have videos and, like I said, articles for them to review and take kind of these little practice exams that apply with those resources. I am currently trying to purchase Board Vitals, which is another popular exam review software that I believe Anna might be also utilizing. I'm only purchasing one just so that I can review because what they have isn't necessarily specific to surgical first assistant. So I'm purchasing one for now just to review for the next cohort. I've already created weekly Kahoots and practice exams, as well as created a specific study schedule for my students to do daily. Lab purchasing, it's the same things that I've done in the previous years. So they're all listed here. Pending purchases, I am currently looking at a few different pig cadavers, along with special instrumentation to go with that. Does anyone have any questions about the program, registration for admission this August?
I'm just wondering, do you and/or the examinees get feedback on what they missed if they failed the exam or if they passed the exam?
Yes. So after they have completed the exam, the MBSTSAs who we go through that kind of approves that examination will send us a specific feedback on what content, there were 10 questions in anatomy. So this is how many they got correct within the anatomy section. There is 7 questions on anesthesia. And so they will know exactly. And I do call each and every one of the students and I do let them know whether they passed or failed, and I do send them the specific feedback that we do get from the exam itself. So for the 4 that have not passed from the 8, from last cohort, I'm actually still conducting study sessions with them so that they feel like they're still prepared for the exam. Any other questions? Thank you, Dr. Schneider.
All right, thanks, Ramsey, so much. Moving along, we're gonna go to Jenny Serpa is our new temporary full-time faculty. She's the program chair for Central Sterile Processing and Distribution. Lot of really exciting things happening with this program, so go right ahead, Jenny.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. Yes, as Anna said, there's so many so many exciting things that have kind of gone on just within the past weeks. So I'm really excited to kind of tell everybody and share all of this stuff. The first piece I want to talk about is Project Higher Ed. So for those of you that may not be acquainted or understand quite what that means, Project Higher is a really great kind of apprenticeship program that the college has to offer to students. And essentially what's happening is we work hand in hand with the employer to kind of build that bridge between the employer and the education, or the employer and the education to help ease that student into that community to find like the right job within that organization. So we have been working with the Project Hire manager, Danielle, and she actually is going to be joining our meeting in October to kind of go over this a little bit, help everybody understand. There's a lot of really great benefits for healthcare organizations as well that would utilize Project Higher Ed. So I think there's some just really neat things that could come from this. We're going to start to get our programs in there.
Jen, I have to interrupt you for 1 sec. I'm sorry. I think is everybody having a hard time hearing her? Something's going on with your audio. Okay, we know how I said Zoom is so great about 10 minutes ago. We're having a hard time understanding. It's struggling for sure. Do you want me to go through? I hate to do that, but is that okay if okay. Jenny and I have worked. Wow, this is good. We've worked closely together because I know how to explain all this stuff. We have worked very closely together. Jenny has been, I used to chair sterile processing, so had a lot of ideas for that. And Jenny's just been remarkable creating, getting all this stuff off the ground. So Project Higher Ed, I'll just touch base just a little bit because it was hard to hear you and I didn't want to interrupt you. I wasn't sure if I was the only one. But this is a very cool thing for our hospitals and surgery centers. The basic premise behind this is that if you have employees that you want to keep within the hospital setting, you have an excellent environmental services person, an excellent transporter that you want to send to our CSPD class so that they can be an employee, stay as an employee in your institution. Then we work with Project Higher Ed to help with the funding, to help with the whole process of getting those students on board with us. There is a lot of funding available for this. So this is a new program that we're working with. They're going to work with our program specifically in spring of 2023. So we will be reaching out. The leader of the Project Higher Ed is going to come talk to us in October at our advising session. So that's super exciting. We're really looking forward to that one. Dual credit. And I also want to say, I can't see everybody on my screen. So if you have a question, please feel free to just chime in. Okay. You don't have to raise your hand or get acknowledged. You can just chime in with a question. Dual credit. So we're going to talk about the program revisions and new courses that we have changed. This allowed for CSPD 1111 to be taught at the high school level. Wilco is a professional career training high school program that for the western suburbs, it's similar to our TCD, if you've heard of that. They are extremely interested in running CSPD for spring of 2023. They have 48 students that they want to send through this program. Any manager that manages SPD, I think would agree that this is a constant issue, finding staff for SPD. Our hope is to get this program, getting more SPD employees into the field. It's an ever-changing field. You always have people coming into SPD and then moving on to whether they go back to school or they go on to surge tech. So this is a position that's always in need. So we're hoping this high school connection is going to help grow that program. And then it also will get those employees, those kids are ready to work right when they finish school after graduation. Excuse me. So another thing we're super excited about is that dual credit. Revisions and new courses. So this course, this program, we divided it into 8-week courses so that this is a more manageable course for people. This is a entry-level position. We want this to be a nice bite-sized chunk of education that they can get out and get a job and then come back to us to further their education. We made it in a lecture component. So CSPD 1111 is the online lecture course. So this is a prerequisite for the Surge Tech program. So we won't have to have them do clinicals for that. And then also this can be marketed towards our uncertified sterile processing techs that are currently working in the field. There is a big push to become certified. It is basically helps those techs understand the why behind what they're doing. Our course is an excellent review program for the ISHM test. You can take both tests, CBS, PDT, or the ISHM exam. So we would love to get current sterile processing techs that are uncertified and want to take that exam to take the CSPD 1111 course. These courses will be available in fall of this year. We are up and running here. We do have to, I have to say, sorry, we do need state approval. We have, I'm getting arrogant. We got through our college curriculum committee has approved it. They approved it quickly and we're excited about it. And so now we're just state approval. That should happen by the end of the month, hopefully. What that new certification will look like, that is going to be a medical terminology class, which we're big believers in. You'll see this attached to all of our programs now. Surge Tech 1000, which is an ethics in healthcare. This is professionalism, communication, teamwork. They're all another excellent class. And then the CSPD 1111 lecture, and then the 1211, which is a clinical piece. That is the full certification. Resources. We are working to improve our lab. We have grown exponentially in the last couple years here. So we're actually working on getting a door placed within one of our spaces so that we could use it as a classroom. We are also in the works, hopefully, on getting a decontamination sink so that we can really work with students on how to correctly clean instrumentation. So I think, Johnny, I think that about covers it, unless I'm forgetting something. Anybody who has questions? Excuse me. On CSPD. Okay, you're going to be sick of hearing me. I get to do the next two also, sorry. All right, our operating room patient care technician. This program we talked about last advisory committee, that I was unsure how to move forward with it. And definitely we had a lot of OR managers express that we still want this program available. So here is how we plan to execute this. The revision on the ORPCT, what we're looking at right now, we're still in these research phases of this switch, but we are considering moving this to a generalized patient care technician program. So what that would do is, and we have talked to the CNA program, we've talked to phlebotomy, we've talked to EKG, all are super excited about this. If you look on Indeed, we have 695 PCT positions within 25 miles of COD. Elmhurst Edward Hospital has, I've spoken with their HR. She said they have 80 open positions between the two campuses and that they are extremely excited at the idea of having a funnel of students that have this certification before entering the workforce. If all goes well, this program would start fall of 2023. And so, like I said, I'm still in that research phase, still need a lot of feedback on this. But what the plan would be, how this program would run is, it would be accredited by the National Health Career Association. They offer a CPCT exam, which the students can take at the end of the program and at COD. So they would all leave having taken that exam. The program would include 16 credits that could be completed in 20 weeks. We think we could do it. We could get it done. We have medical terminology, CNA, which would include a clinical piece, that CNA. They leave with a CNA license and a clinical piece. Phlebotomy, EKG, and then a PCT exam prep course. My question to the advisory committee, or if anybody has any input on this, is if we think that the PCTs should have clinical experience on top of the CNA clinical experience, should we send them out to hospitals in that PCT role while they're prepping for their exam? I was curious if anybody had feedback on that one.
Hi, it's Sharon. I think that that would be an excellent idea to help them hone their skills.
Okay.
Being paired up
I
with
agree.
somebody, like a day in the life, I think that would be great.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree with that. That's definitely true.
Okay. All right, awesome. And that's kind of what we were thinking. I think that we will not have problems finding clinical placement. First of all, these students will have all their health requirements, so they'll have that all on board. So that won't be a difficult thing for them. And then there is such a need at the hospitals. I think that that's basically what we've been doing with Surge Tech, is let us send you our students, give them a try, see if this is a good employee for you. It's working almost like an employment agency, a really cool employment agency. So so thank you so much for the feedback. I think that I agree. I think it would be a nice thing to add to it. Okay, moving along. So how we will continue to keep operating room patient care technician is students who complete that PCT program. So they will sit for the exam. They would have their CPCT certification. They can then take this Surge Tech 1001 surgical asepsis and sterile technique course. This is this new course that Ramsey was talking about as well. They could add that course on and as a continuing education certificate, and then they could be an OR PCT. So we could still, for those of you who are still utilizing the OR PCT, it really is a real well-rounded certificate then. Okay, any questions on that? That one I moved through quickly because we are in the transition stages. I will probably have more information for you on that one in October. But any questions on that, guy?
Anna, is there, I guess, a salary difference between PCT and OR PCT?
Kind of difficult to say, Ramsey, because OR PCT is pretty, not everybody is utilizing them. A lot of hospitals are utilizing just transporters in that OR PCT role, but where other hospitals have a specific job title for OR PCT. So it is a little bit difficult to assess. PCT though, you know, there's paying anywhere from $15 to $18 an hour. And I don't want to overstep again, because I'm still in these research phases of this, but this is a good job for a 1 semester program for sure. And in need as well.
Does your PCT program include environmental service training as well?
We have, you know what, I could put that on the PCT exam review will have some lab component to that. So if that is something that we think, I think CNA does cover that a bit, environmental training, but I will look into that for sure to make sure that that is part of it. Do you think that is something that is a crucial component of your OR PCTs or of PCTs?
Anna, and at Good Shepherd, they are definitely used to do environmental services on top of helping turn the room over. So yeah, that
Okay.
is very important to us.
Okay, yep. Our current ORPCT class does cover that, how to clean the room, how to turn over the room. So I will note to make sure that that becomes one of the objectives as well. Thanks so much.
Just one more quick question. I see that CNA, phlebotomy, and EKG, would these students have the opportunity to be certified in all three of those as well then?
The phlebotomy and EKG programs, those would be like a 2-credit, each course would be a 2-credit course. They have their own programs, like a phlebotomy has a phlebotomy certificate. It requires more sticks, basically, more sticks, more lab time, more clinical time for them to receive that certificate. So unfortunately they would, but this is stackable. They do have the CNA certificate, and then they would have the CPCT certificate as well. But most of the PCTs, if they're taking, and I don't want to overstep it, we could ask some of the managers, but they'll hire a CNA, but then they have to train them in EKG and PCT. They have to take like a class to get more understanding. Okay, any other questions on ORPCT? And I'm sorry if I'm rushing through. I have so much to talk about in Surge Tech. I want to make sure I get it all in. Okay, I'm going to move on to Surge Tech. Again, if you come up with questions, you know, on sterile processing, feel free to chime in and ask at any time. Surge Tech degree. Whew, this guy, we did a lot of moving and shaking on this program this semester. Actually, the last year or so. I've been talking about these changes for a while now, and we did just finish. Jenny and I were at CCC on Friday, and it just went so well. We are approved through the college, and so now it's headed to the state, and we should be moving along for. We have some courses active in fall of 2022, and then some in fall of 2023. I did have to deactivate the certification. This is per KHEP. Our accrediting body will not allow Surge Techs to have a certification only. They must have the general education studies and graduate with an associate degree. So that certification, we have been having students get the associate degree for a couple years now, but we left the certification active for students that had prior degrees, bachelor's degrees, associate degrees. The reason it's deactivated, it's confusing for students. They think that we still have a certification program, and anyone, even if they have a bachelor's degree, I have some students with bachelor's of fine arts, and I still need them to take those science courses and the med term. So they still have to take some of the specific science level courses that we require. Okay, I am not going to go through this in its entirety. I'm sure you're all very grateful for that. But I'm going to give you just a couple points about all of these changes. This is what you could see what the program was and what the program has become. So what we did here is the new program incorporates smaller courses that run every 8 weeks. This design is similar to the nursing program. If they have 8-week chunks, students know how successful they are within 8 weeks. So it's basically for remediation. If you have a student that's struggling in lab, but they're doing great in their theory class, but lab they cannot pass, this format allows those students to take the lab piece again without losing. Right now they would lose the 12 credits. This is Surge Tech 1101, which is 12 credits. So if we have somebody who's doing great in clinicals, doing great in the theory, but failed the lab component, they lose 12 credits by failing that course, and they have to wait a year to come back. So the smaller courses really allow us to figure out what areas students are struggling in. The new course structure also allows for a fall or a spring start. What this will do is let the community, pretty much the community need, decide when our cohorts are. If we have clinical sites that are saying we need more surge techs, we have a ton of jobs available, and I have a bunch of students that are ready to roll, we can start that cohort in fall and graduate people at the end of summer. And then vice versa, we can start them in spring and graduate at the end of December. That also, again, should help get more surge techs out into the field. The new program was able to drop a credit. So 64 credits is the minimum that a student needs for an associate's degree. We like to stay as close to that as possible. So we were able to bring it to the 64 credits, but also include medical terminology and anatomy 1 and 2. I'm very excited about this anatomy series. This is something that I have been wanting to do for a while. Our students struggle in the anatomy area. We had students take chem or areas of science. I had a zoology that we could accept on the degree. So we had to make this that it was more anatomy specific. Surge Tech 1001, that's that course that Ramsey was talking about. We've mentioned it a couple times. This is going to be a really cool course. This is all skill-based. It is lecture as well, but this is a heavy lab that includes 20 to 30 skills, basically, scrubbing skills. This course will teach, and it's available to anybody who's interested in taking the class, basically. So it is, this can be given to, actually, I'm going to go down a little bit. It can be given to new nurses. This can be for nurses that are current OR nurses, but they want to scrub. This is also for our surge tech students. We need them to take it, so I know that that they actually do like putting on a gown and a glove, and so it helps them to get prepared for this. This is also that course that's attached to Ramsey's class, so that we're sure that those RNs and those foreign medical docs have those scrub skills. So very versatile course that I think that we can utilize in a bunch of areas, actually, even outside of surge tech. Okay, lab improvements. We have also, along with Jenny's, that CSPD's decontamination sink, we are also requesting monitors in each lab. The monitors would sit up here at the top. What we would do is we do mock surgeries. We're really trying to improve our simulation-based learning. So we will do full mock procedures with instrument calls, and students can watch that procedure on the monitor while they're passing instrumentation. So that one we're getting those monitors. Hopefully, we haven't been approved yet, but I am requesting that for both ORs. Clinical site additions. We are super excited about getting more clinical sites on board. Cook County has, we had a great meeting with them. We are in the process of getting that agreement nailed down. We're hoping, we're shooting for summer, but that might be hopeful. I think that we're looking more for fall of this year. Cook County has stated they may take 4 students. This is an excellent place to learn, so we are really excited. We have students that are excited about it as well. Morris Hospital has reached out, Palos, multiple SCA surgery center locations have also stated we're working on a contract with them as well to get more of those locations as our clinical partners. Student graduate evaluation and assessment. We have introduced a Trajecsys system. This is a clinical record keeping system that's amazing. This was stuff we were all doing on our own. The instructors are loving this. Our clinical instructors are loving this. Students are able to clock in and out, and it has a GPS feature, so they have to clock in and out from the locker room. They log in all of their surgical procedures with a digital preceptor signature on every case. They do weekly self and preceptor evaluations within the system, and then we also have midterm and final clinical instructor evaluations within the system as well. So we're thrilled with that program. Outcomes, okay. I'm still I feel like I'm in PTSD from the last 2 years of our outcomes, so bear with me on this next part here. 2021 retention, we started with 23 students. As you can see, we lost 6 along the way. This retention nationally is dropping for sure. This is also a problem that we've heard from other healthcare programs, that something's going on with the students, and we're really struggling to keep them interested and engaged and have resilience to finish these programs. I have a lot of things I'm working on right now. Right now, we did start a surge tech support group that I actually love. We're doing it right after class on Mondays. I had 3 people the first day, and it grew to 6 we had yesterday. We're basically a safe place for them to talk, for me to offer them resources. We're dealing with stress and how to deal with the stress involved in the operating room and in healthcare and in life in general. So far so good on that. And I'm really hoping that will make a difference with our retention. Pass rates. We had a rough year last year. All 17 graduates took the exam. We only had a 41% pass rate. I have been through this 1,000 times trying to figure out what's happening. We were online last year as well, and I am pretty confident that what's happening is that the students are not sufficiently testing their skills throughout the year in the online format. We would proctor exams. It's very difficult. Students are still taking those exams at home, and it's very difficult to make sure that they are not using a book, that they're not have another screen open. It's really, really hard. So we are back on campus right now. We have reading assessments that we're doing to assure students are completing their reading. We have decided to incorporate 8 weeks for the exam review at the end of this semester. And right now I am applying for Perkins funding for a Board Vitals exam prep for every student. So I'm hoping to get approved for that, and I can purchase those for them in July. But Board Vitals they have an app that is on their phone that they can take. It's like 1,600 questions that they can practice throughout the time period. So working really hard. Please know this rate is unacceptable to us. It's below accreditation standards, so I will have to write an action plan for that. But without even having to write the action plan, this is unacceptable to me and to all of us here. So we are doing everything. I can assure you we're doing everything we can to make sure that this number goes up for this year. So I am excited to report better numbers next year for sure. My surveys, I am still working on those employer surveys. I will be sure to give you those outcomes in October. We're behind because of COVID. It set everything back. So it's taking me a little bit more time to get those in. My graduate surveys, 100% were returned, and we are within accreditation standards. We did have students that were not happy with the online experience. So that's something I'm taking all of that into consideration, but we did fall within accreditation standards as far as student satisfaction. We're getting there. Fair practices. So it might be one of my favorite things that we've done. We've moved to a registration program. What this means, how it used to be, is that students would compete for a spot in the program for these 24 spots in the program. And what you would have if you had a strong year where you had a lot of students with high GPAs, then those students that fell a little bit lower couldn't get in, and they could try for multiple years and still not get in. What the registration program did was basically say, if you successfully complete all of the prerequisites, we'll let you in. We will find a spot for you. They are accepted on a first come, first served basis. So once they complete all their prerequisites successfully, they will get a spot on the following cohort. This should help keep students interested so they don't have to wait 2 years to become a surgical tech. They can, they know exactly their education plan, when they're going to enter the program. They know early on when they're going to, and they have confidence that they are entering that program. So very equitable system that I think will really help get more students and more people, more techs in the field. Any questions, comments, concerns? I'm going to stop this share so I can see everybody's face. Anything at all? There's so much talking.
I have a question. Do you still have an anesthesia tech program?
Well, I believe that we are not offering that in the fall. Dr. Dina, is that okay for me to say? I'm not sure what the official stance is, but I believe that that program is not being offered. Correct?
Correct.
I'm sorry to hear it. Thank you.
Thanks, Sharon.
I had a question for
Sure.
the registration, first come, first serve. Do the students that are out of district, do they get the same, are they included in the first come, first serve?
They are actually, because it's a registration program, it does, it's not a competitive acceptance policy. So it does open the doors to the outside of the district as well. It's
Okay.
basically everybody's treated the same with
Okay.
that.
Perfect.
Any other questions at all? I know it's a long one. I really appreciate you and a lot of this guy's voice. So sorry. I always apologize to my students if they have to listen to my voice for longer than 20 minutes. All right. Well, I can't thank you enough for joining. We always have such a nice group that shows up. And these are super important. We take everything you guys have to say when we are designing these programs. And as you can see, we have so many changes going on. Every change that we do is to benefit the student and to benefit the hospitals and surgery centers that they end up in. So thank you so much, everyone. And please feel free to reach out with any questions. I will, as soon as we get the meeting minutes together, I will send you a link that includes the minutes and all that entire presentation that we just went through. All right. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Great job. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.